Welcome to the Prophecy Club. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. Nobody told me this, brothers and sisters. I mean, I knew I was right, and I'm right. And so I'm going to take some credit for it. I don't even know. Maybe I'm the first one to even tell the world this, but I'm telling you, I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. Okay, so what am I right about? Could it be, this is what I said for the last really 2 days, could it be that the original test of the E.A.S, the emergency alert system, could it be that this test originally scheduled for September 20th that has now been moved to October 3rd, could it be that President Trump has scheduled this test of the E.A.S, emergency alert system? As I said yesterday, it's supposed to be a simple test, just to text every cell phone in America the message, quote, this is a test. But what I said yesterday, what if the test is not really a test? What if it says there has been a national emergency? Hear those two words, national emergency. Let me say it again, national emergency. I'm going to show you those two words in an executive order that Trump signed. I'm going to read part of it for you, because apparently what is about to happen on October 3rd, and this is what Q says, so I can say it's not, while I may have been the first one to reveal it to the public, it's not me saying it. Okay, so bottom line is, here's what may happen. At least this is what the indications seem to be. On October 3rd, the emergency alert system message is probably not going to say this is a test. Probably what it's going to announce is that America is in a national emergency, and then the 50,000 sealed indictments will be rounded up. Now, I'll get to that in just a second. Matter of fact, most of this program today is going to be reading what Q just posted as of today. This is the 9/19 posts that we're going to, I guess he posted it yesterday. So anyway, back to what I'm trying to say. First of all, the executive order number 13825, signed on March 1 of 2018, it's 465 pages long, is essentially giving President Trump the authority to arrest, detain, and prosecute people under the UCMJ. That's the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It's hard to even say it. I'm not used to saying those words. Uniform Code of Military Justice. Got it? Now, that fits with their plan that others have said. Their plan is to round these 50,000 corrupt people up, take them to Gitmo, Diego Garcia, and the Atoll, which are prison islands, and put them in trial, a military tribunal, which means these 50,000 corrupt people will be arrested and basically never heard from again, like they just fell into the black hole out there someplace. I hope that many of them are going to be some really, really corrupt people, like some of the fake media places. Now, let me refresh your memory. Because we know Bible prophecy, we have an edge. Some people know it from inside sources. I don't have any inside sources. Some people know it from reading the news. But when you have the Bible backed up with holy servants of God that God is speaking to, you got an advantage. So let me quickly cover that. Then I want to go to what Q is saying today. Pastor Massey, 2017, the U.S. military will come in to help Trump to take control of the public. The public will go out of order. Terry Bennett, back in 2010, what the United States is going to go through is civil conflict, civil war, then invasion. I saw in the governmental area we will go through dramatic change in our government. There will be a time of anarchy and chaos. For a while, we'll have a fractional government, which means basically our government will come down to the state level because the military steps in and seizes control of our government. You'd call it a coup, but in all honesty, it will be to help our nation. That's why the military will step in. Do you think 50,000 people arrested, all in, let's say, a 48-hour to a week-long basis over a process of 2 to 7 days. Do you think that that would fit that description? I do. Now, let me jump down. I got a couple of things I got to read for you. I tried to get this to yesterday. I couldn't get to it. This was signed, an executive order, December 21 of 2017. Now remember, this whole plot of hiring Huber and his 470, quote, dogged investigators to form all of these sealed indictments started in November 2017. This was signed December 21, 2017. And the executive order says it is an executive order blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse, in other words, pedophilia or corruption. Very specific. Now, let me read just a couple of lines, then we got to go to Q. I therefore determine that serious human rights abuse and corruption around the world constitute an unusual and an extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States. And, listen to this now, and I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with the threat. Let me read it again. I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with the threat. Let me read it again. I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with the threat. So, we are already in a national emergency. It's just that the people don't know it yet. Now let's go to what Q has posted. Now, again, we do not know who this Q is, and you can find this at QAnon, let me back it up, QANON.pub. QANON.pub. So it's https://QAnon.pub. And I do not think it's President Trump, but I do think it is someone that can touch his desk, probably one of his cabinet members. I do think it's credible. I'm not going to go into all the reasons why, but we don't have time for that today. Maybe another day. Okay, so let's get to it. He puts this in cryptic form because he can't say it outright because he would be revealing national security secrets. So he talks about it. Look, again, a prophecy student and one that listens to the prophecies and the news and all the other sources has a big advantage. Plus, Jesus said that he's sending the Holy Spirit to us, and the Holy Spirit would lead us into all truth. Lord, we ask you to lead us into the truth of this. So let me get to it here. There's so much here. He doesn't normally put this. I don't even know if I'm going to have time to read this. I'm going to have to skip this first one. I'm just going to have to skip it. If I have time, I'll come back to it. All right. RR, that's Rod Rosenstein, attempts to stall declass, in other words, your declassified documents and redactions have failed. Got popcorn? Enjoy the show. Meaning that Rod Rosenstein is not going to stop these declassified documents from being released, and they will not be redacted. He's saying, got popcorn? Enjoy the show. Enjoy the fact that Donald Trump is, in fact, in the process of draining the swamp. Next one. All of these are dated September 19th. It says, this is a tweet that they have recopied of Donald Trump. The Supreme Court is one of the main reasons I got elected president. I hope Republican voters and others watching and studying the Democrats' playbook. Then he has done a cut paste from another person's tweet. Now, that still means that it's his words because he's put it on his post here. It's not Twitter, it's post. And it says narrative shift. Oh, listen to these words. Listen to these words. I was right. Narrative shift. Nation on alert. Did you hear those words? Nation on alert. Firing RR, that's Rob Rosenstein, equals block Mueller. Firing RR, set up firing Mueller. Firing RR, red line. What was the Senate confirmation vote for RR? Why did RR beg Ryan to block the FISA memo? In other words, he's going on to say, look, if you release all of these documents, you are just going to show all of the corruption that we have had all of these years. You're going to, the whole plan is going to be out. Don't release them. I'm running out of time here, so let me move on. Then Q says, do you believe in coincidences? Think of context. Nothing to see here. Now, when he says nothing to see here, he's saying all of this is being done behind the scenes. It's not in the news. Don't expect it to see it in the news, at least not yet. All of this is his plan. This is the Trump Sessions plan to pull the plug and drain the swamp. Next post, 2 words, castle lock. Well, what's a castle? Well, that's where the king lives. When it says lock the castle, what's it saying? It's saying make certain that you're locked away, the king, where President Trump is locked into safety because he's about to drain the swamp. I think October 3rd, what we may very well see is instead of saying this is a test, it's going to announce a national emergency, brothers and sisters. Next post. I'm going to read it exactly as it's posted. Panic in UK. Panic in D.C. UK is United Kingdom. D.C. is Washington. Panic in UK. Panic in D.C. Panic in UK. Panic in D.C. It says each one of those twice. Next post. Q&A. Meaning that there is about to be panic in Washington and in the UK because they're about to drain the swamp. There's about to be 50,000 people rounded up and arrested and disappear into the night out to the prison islands, never to be seen or heard or from again. Then the next post it's a picture of General Flynn. Now, you remember General Flynn was a good guy, a friend of Donald Trump. Then all of a sudden, he lied to Trump, and so Trump fired him. And then the investigation of Mueller come over and caught him in a lie, and so put him in prison. Or actually, he hasn't been put in prison yet. He's about to be sentenced. But it has a picture of this General Flynn. Underlined is Flynn exonerated soon, ? Okay, so when Q puts a question mark, he's saying this is what's about to happen. Meaning that Flynn is about to be exonerated and released very soon. Next line. In the end, all will be right. Patriots protect patriots. Now, brothers and sisters, I ain't even got to the good stuff yet. I'm about to tell you that Q confirms that what's about to happen October 3rd is a national emergency. I didn't say it. Q says it. Let's go on. Next post. Billionaires 187. FVEY. I don't know what that is. Safety house built. U1 funnel. Canada X. Now, I think what it's saying is that the billionaires in Canada are not happy. Then the rest of the quotes, the post says, Trudeau, anything ? So apparently what it's saying is Trudeau is not cooperating, and the billionaires in Canada are about to twist his arm, and Canada will bend the knee to the United States and will cooperate with being in the trade program. Next post. Sexual misconduct is the public shelter to accept resignation. Watch those announcing 2020 P running. You cannot attack a political opponent. Parenthesis. None are protected, none are safe. Now, here's what it's saying. All of the Democrats that are trying to get these people to run for the 2020 presidential nomination are afraid to run because they've all been guilty of this sexual misconduct or various other things, and they know that Trump will expose them. That's what he's saying. Let's go on. CM, that's 2 capital letters, CM, please divert more resources, bandwidth, into board. The reason is because so many people are checking this post that it's really, really slow to get it to download because so many people are listening to Q. I think He's credible. I believe him. On to the next one. Yes. Now, listen to this one. Are we alone? Question mark. Roswell? Question mark. No. Highest classification. Consider the vastness of space. You know what he just said? He just said that Donald Trump is about to open up all of the UFO, the Area 51, all of those secrets, and he's about to reveal the truth. Now let's go to the next one. He says, was moving the date back on POTUS, FEMA, quote, presidential alert significant? Did you hear that? Let's go on. Due to K confirmation push, that's Kavanaugh, hand in hand, RR, that's Rod Rosenstein, stand down due to Kavanaugh confirmation. What he's saying is that there is about to be a POTUS FEMA presidential alert, and it's probably going to be October 3rd, although that could be just a test, and then shortly after that, the real presidential alert come out. But my guess is that that test is not going to be a test, because they're only saying it's a test so that no one will stop the alert from going out. In other words, look don't be surprised at all. I'll say it this way. Don't be surprised at all if the presidential alert is what is revealed on October 3rd. And the reason, what he's saying is, the reason they delayed it, because it was going to be today, September 20th as I record this, it was going to be the FEMA presidential test message was supposed to come out today, but are saying they delayed it due to the Kavanaugh confirmation. Meaning, don't be surprised October 3rd if what comes on your phone is a presidential alert, and it's not a test. And it's basically going to be the signal that all of these 50,000 sealed indictments are about to be rounded up. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that this is going to help the election? Well, apparently so. If he's about to do it a month before the election, I mean, that's almost exactly a month before the election. So apparently some of the people that are maybe even in the running are about to be arrested too. And then that would force the Dems to come up with some other people or replace some of the corrupt people with some good people. Who knows? Who knows how that works yet? All right, let's go on to the next one. CM, please confirm ASAP resource upgrade tracking 330 IPs using this particular website. He's saying, give me some more bandwidth. It's too slow. Okay. In other words, a lot of people are listening. Now let's go on to the next one. Remember, we're talking about UFOs. This is what Q says. He says, did NASA fake the moon landings? Have we been to the moon since then? Question mark. Are there secret space programs? Question mark. Is that why the Space Force was created? False. Moon landings are real. Programs exist that are outside of public domain. Is Trump about to reveal all the secrets of the Area 51? Is that what he's saying? I mean, apparently that's the way I would take it. It certainly sounds like it to me. On to the next one. We're deaf, that's a capital DEF, being attacked. We're deaf being attacked. No, we are de-dousing ourselves with over 300,000 IPs. Now 412,000 now. He's saying, my site is so popular, you may think that we're getting attacked because it's so slow. But it's so slow because so many people are looking at it. So many people are listening to this guy, and I believe him. Okay, so what's he saying? I believe he is hinting that there is about to be a presidential alert. You remember on the 17th, Rod Rosenstein requested a meeting with the POTUS for the second time, but he declined. Why? Because he is begging him not to make them release these declassified documents, but he is still going to release it. He also says, goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. Goodbye, Mr. Mueller. Patriots in control. Another post, September 17th, says, attention on deck. Lock on target. Fire at will. Meaning This all is about to come down, brothers and sisters. It's not a joke. Here's another post. I think this is from the 18th. Non-NSA tech cannot read filter, meaning they have shut down the NSA and all of their spying. Define projection. DS panic is real. Think about real-time, quote, Q tracking. The war is real. The power you have is real. Fight, fight, fight. He's preparing the patriots to be a part of this big roundup, brothers and sisters. Okay, looks like I've got enough time here. So let me jump over to something that I didn't think I had time to do. You remember that Hal Turner put this out July the 17th. This is shortly after the Putin-Trump summit. And he says that Putin gave Trump 160 terabytes of communication intercepts. All people behind the fake Russia collusion, false flags, chemical attacks in Syria, sabotage of Brexit, nefarious Clinton activities, and more. Well, let me jump down to where I had to leave off yesterday. I ran out of time because it's got some more good stuff. He says, now this is concerning the information that's on the 160 terabytes given to President Trump. And again, I believe it. Even more sadly are a few high-ranking U.S. military officials who have been caught. Intercepts from field communications are going to send some of those officials to Leavenworth for the rest of their lives, as they should. As some of these contradictions uniform have gotten good men killed and written narratives that fed into nefarious plots against Americans on the battlefields, as well as with the United States. The level of criminal conspiracy is so enormous, and the global scale and reach of these efforts is so gigantic, it boggles the mind. Moreover, a very significant number of employees and officials inside the U.S. State Department have coordinated activities, the likes of which will make the American people recoil in horror. In fact, Foggy Bottom is the nickname for the State Department, is turning out to be the epicenter of evil for a lot of things. Bankers and titans of industry are also involved. I can also report that union bosses figure prominently in the intercepts. Now he talks about Brexit. The opposition of Brexit is being funded and orchestrated by people on both sides of British politics, and the motivation is twofold. They want Britain to remain in Europe to lessen its power, and they hate the royal family. According to the information given to me, some of the most virulent Tory remainders joked with like-minded Labour members about, quote, looking forward to the day when Britain sheds its archaic monarchy and comes under total rule by the EU. These are elected officials who are literally trying to destroy the sovereignty of their own country. Now let's talk about the Clintons, he says. Turns out Bill and Hillary have been under surveillance since Bill was first elected president in 1992. Almost every dirty detail, alleged shakedown, alleged kickback, and some things described to me as, quote, the ultimate acts, plural, of nefarious nature. All are neatly recorded and indexed by Russia. Now, I'm told, President Trump has it all. Again, that's according to Hal Turner. I got to give you a disclaimer there. I can't verify a word of it, but again, by the Holy Spirit, you can tell it's probably true. He goes on to say, trusted elements inside the Trump administration, parentheses, who have been sworn to absolute secrecy, even ordered to flatly deny the very existence of this material in order to maintain security, parentheses, are being tasked to sort through, analyze, and catalog all activities turned over by Russia, paying particular attention to any activity which resulted in violence, death, or property damage, so as to be able to criminally, do you hear that? Criminally prosecute all the conspirators based on any end result, violence, or property, or damage or loss. whether the conspirators intended such acts or not, the acts themselves, quote, were a foreseeable consequence of their efforts, thus making them all guilty. Working from the top, these trusted elements inside the Trump administration will take each effort and follow it down to the end result, documenting any acts of state-level violence, which whereby makes all participants in that entire effort subject to conspiracy charges. Conspiracy is the likely charge as opposed to bringing racketeer, influence, corrupt organization, or RICO cases, because RICO cases require predicate felonies, which often had not occurred. Government exists to protect us from each other. Where government has gone beyond its limits in deciding to protect us from ourselves, Ronald Reagan. Now, what's really going on here, brothers and sisters? Well, what's really going on here is just like Jeremiah 51 verse 9 says, we would have healed Babylon, America, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let every man return into his own country. I believe that these are the days that God is going to point back when we get to see a replay of all of this, saying, see, I did give your nation a chance to repent, to turn around, and to heal itself. But apparently, for whatever reason, the healing can't quite take place. Now, I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's that the 50,000 people rounded up is not enough. Maybe it should have been 100, 150,000. I don't know. Maybe they didn't get all the bad guys. I don't know what happens. But like I said this past Sunday from the pulpit, I said, we went to Whataburger, and we were watching some kids next to us, and they were all just playing on their cell phone. Most of the millennials these days don't know God, and they don't want to know God. You give America another 5, 10, 15 years, a chance for the gray-haired Bible believers, the prophecy students, to die off, and then you look and you weigh America in the balances, and I think you'll agree that probably not much is going to be left that's good. The next millennial generation doesn't know God, doesn't want to know God, and just like Revelation 18 says, Babylon has fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. In other words, these millennials are just going to be corrupt and evil, not knowing God, and because just like Hosea 6:2 says, they forgot God, and therefore I will forget their children. This is a generation rising up that has forgotten God. So I believe that there's a strong possibility that October 3rd, that federal E.A.S. message is not going to be just a test. I don't know for certain, but do not be surprised if it's not a test, but if it says presidential emergency. Remember those two words, presidential emergency, presidential emergency. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers, and thank you for your gifts of support. God bless. Now from the Prophecy Club, some exciting opportunities for you. I really want you to get these 7 DVDs. Top Soviet War Plans for America, Russian Defector Warns America, I Saw Subs Attack America, Russian Bear Awakes, Babylonians Are Coming, Russia's Secret Weapon, Storm Judgment and Revival, and the First 34 Orders. Also, get Jeff Nyquist's book, Origins of the Fourth World War, free, valued at $230 for a gift of $50. But you can call 785-266-1112 and get a code and go to watchprophecyclub.com, and you can watch all 7 of them for the next 90 days for a gift of just $20. 785-266-1112. 785-266-1112. Watch all 7 of them for 90 days, gift of $20.